present to you our 2014 commencement speaker, Christina Capecchi, Greece. Christina graduated from Visitation in 2000 and went on to Mount Mercy University in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where she earned her BA degree in English and Communications. Immediately following, the Catholic Spirit offered her a position as a staff writer. She then earned a master's degree from the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. Authored by Christina, 20-something is the most widely syndicated Catholic column in the country, reaching more than 2 million households. As well, she has been a regular contributor to the New York Times since 2007, and her pieces also appear in the Huffington Post, the Chicago Tribune, and on Minnesota Public Radio. Christina is devoted to her family and delights with her husband Ted in the life of their one-year-old daughter, Maria. It is often said that visitation grows writers. Christina Capecchi Reese is a sterling example of that truth. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium today.
The fact that you have made it here today, so sleek and straight and smiling in crisp, unsullied white, Minnesota's most bright and beautiful high school graduates, means you must be tired. Excited, yes. Proud, of course. Nostalgic, anxious, perhaps. But tired, that I can guarantee. It means you are about to cross the finish line of a sensational high school career, and a final year whose intensity took you by surprise, because the senior slide you had waited for, banked on, and fantasized about never actually arrived. You and your classmates dazzled the Viz community. Hockey players who made state, swimmers who took state, robots who won the regional competition, artists and actors who brought Trek to life, a speed skater, a gymnast, rowers and writers, musicians and mathematicians. You survived October, the month of tears. In spring, you pulled off the tricky Tetris of prom pairings, coordinating cars and cuisine and corsages. You strained your necks and twisted your torsos for the best angle on every selfie, selecting the optimal Instagram filter and composing clever captions. And your thumbs must be exhausted from tapping on all those texts and tweets. But most fatiguing of all, you subjected yourselves to the cold, hard work of every college-bound senior. Compression. You took your vibrant, complex, three-dimensional selves and compressed them into black and white applications. You were quantified and compared, ranked on a scale that reaches up to 4.0 or 36. You thesaurused up your resume in pursuit of active verbs. You solicited letters of recommendation. You wrote about your backgrounds, failures, and accomplishments in 650-word essays, striving for that impossible tone that says, I'm really great, and did I mention I'm humble? You exercised mental gymnastics and sobering self-assessment in a school year when colleges admitted record lows. And my message to you today is, please, don't let all that nonsense continue to dictate your thinking. I know what it's like to be resume-minded, to show up for youth group or middle school tutoring because it'll look good on your resume. I've been there, and I've cleaned that highway. My charge to you, class of 2014, build a life, not a resume. Forget the things that seem impressive. Chase whatever it is you find intriguing. Free yourself from other people's expectations, real or imagined. Unshackle yourself from the silly conventions of our politically correct meritocracy. Just be who you are and be it well. When you build a life outside of obligation, you can follow your curiosities wherever they may lead, and they will surprise you. Maybe you'll build a more efficient solar panel, increasing its yield and converting more sunlight into electricity. Maybe you'll become an expert on the migratory patterns of humpback whales, establishing safer shipping lanes in the South Pacific. Or maybe you'll create a new flavor of ice cream. Let your interests widen and discover how fun they make life. When you let go of resume building in lieu of lesson learning and experience gathering, you realize it's okay to be a freshman with an undecided major. In my work as a journalist, I've interviewed many people about their career arcs, and I've come to see that they unfold in ways you can't plan or predict. The key is to get out there, meet people, take risks and initiative, do something worth talking about, work hard. Resume building brings a crippling fear of failure, of taking the wrong job or quitting it too soon or allowing a suspicious 3-month gap between positions. In reality, that 3-month period when you backpack through Europe or record your grandpa's life story will teach you more than the office could. When you build a life as opposed to a resume, you enroll in the college courses that you'll learn the most from, not the ones that look like easy A's. Let me warn you, graduates, that your resume-building radar will go on high alert this fall when you get started at college and attend a clubs and organizations fair, where upperclassmen will try to recruit you with the likes of free pens, plastic cups, and fun-sized Snickers, because they're looking for someone else to do the grunt work of being treasurer. But half of those clubs, as I recall them, are totally pointless. Members sit around and talk, and take notes on their talk, and then meet again to review the notes on their old talk and have a new talk that they take new notes on. And nothing gets done. Seek out that club that actually does something that matters to you. Or look around your campus and community, identify an unmet need, and found a club that is intended to address it. Build a life where you think outside the box, where you don't fear rejection because you don't see it in final terms. And you understand that no simply means not now or not this way. There is always another way. When I was offered a regular column from a national wire service, I was preparing to start grad school and the proposal of a monthly check sounded pretty nice. But my boyfriend suggested I start out on my own, self-syndicating a column. So I prepared a 30-second elevator pitch and 3 sample columns and began cold calling editors, one after another after another. Eventually, an editor in Hawaii said yes, and then an Indiana editor signed on. Soon I had 50 editors on board, 50 different checks coming in for the same one column, far exceeding what the wire service had offered. More importantly, I had the pleasure of ownership, dealing directly with the people running the papers. If they said no, and plenty did, they shared their reasons with me. And no rarely meant no. It meant not now, or not this way. I followed up with some editors whose no turned into a yes after a year. Once they had committed to my column, I learned why they valued my voice. I learned that my youth was not a liability, but an asset. I was smart enough to marry that guy who cared so much about my career, by the way, which turned out to be a really good move, personally and professionally. I agree with Facebook's chief operating officer, Sheryl Sandberg, who once said, "The most important career choice you'll make is who you marry." When Mark Zuckerberg offered Sheryl the COO position, she almost accepted his first offer for pay, until her husband insisted she counter, just for the principle of it, because she was worth it. Sheryl did, and Mark accepted her terms. I don't consider myself a salesperson, but I realize that no one else can sell my writing better than I can. And likewise, no one can sell you and your work better than you. So exercise that biz girl confidence. Get busy and put yourself out there. Play the student card and ask to job shadow someone you admire. Propose a new initiative at your workplace and offer to lead it. Make it your baby. If Art Fry had cared about resume building, he never would have invented the Post-it note, that magical little product that orders our multitasked minds, capturing late-night ideas and next-day to-dos, hovering on fridges and computer monitors. But the longtime 3-year grew up with a dad who encouraged him, taking him to the dump every Saturday to gather scrap lumber, giving him license to create. Art told me, I could build anything I wanted to with that crate lumber with the understanding that I could only keep my best creations. The rest had to go into the water heater. And that was great training for product development because you have to go through so many ideas and try them out, and most of them go into the water heater. One day, decades later, Art was out golfing with 3M colleagues at Tartan Park, and at the second hole, someone mentioned a new adhesive that had low strength. It made intermittent contact with the surface it was attached to, not full contact, and hence it had appeared to be a failure. But Art filed the product away, and because he had built a full life, a life that extended beyond the office, he found inspiration in the base section of the choir loft in North Presbyterian Church of North St. Paul, where the paper scrap he had stuck in his hymnal kept slipping. Suddenly he had the perfect use for that imperfect adhesive, a note you could attach and later remove. When I interviewed Art, he told me the key to invention is a sense of experimentation and a willingness to fail. He said he would rather hire someone who had failed at a lofty undertaking than someone whose resume looked perfect but had never amassed the real-world lessons that come from being a part of a project or a campaign that misses its mark. Don't bother building a life that looks perfect on paper. Build a life that is rich and full, messy and real. Build a life where you both challenge yourself and you take care of yourself. Push yourself to do that hard thing and do it well because you know you can, because you're your own competition. Crawl into bed at night feeling tired because you've been productive that day. You've earned your rest, not because it's 2 a.m. and you just binge-watched Gossip Girls. Push yourself and at the same time, learn how to take care of yourself and treat it like a job. Don't skimp on the basics just because you can get by without sleep or exercise or the right food. Learning to love yourself is a beautiful, never-ending pursuit. It doesn't mean you're the diva. It means you treat yourself as kindly as you would treat a friend. Be good to yourself. Be gentle. It's so Salesian. Build a life without ego, where you're comfortable asking the so-called dumb questions because you know that dumb questions are honest questions and the beginning of understanding. Ask your aunts and uncles, your neighbors and your friends' parents, what do you do? What do you actually do all day? Why is your company good at its service or specialty? What problems do you wish you could solve? There are people who ask questions to be polite, to be conversational, and then there are people who ask questions to learn, as if they are mining for information. Be in the latter group. Build a life on gratitude. If there's even a chance that you're spoiled, that you've taken things for granted, I want you graduates to do me a favor this week. Go out and mow the lawn for your parents. They have given you so much, including your visit experience, which is a lifelong gift, one you'll appreciate more with every passing year. In an age of Snapchat, where images disappear in 10 seconds, build something that lasts. Build a career, build a house, build a marriage, build a family. Memorize your 18-year-old heart with its dreams and ideals, and hold yourself to them. Don't let the man or the system make you cynical. Don't settle at age 40 for a life that would disappoint you today. Guard your hopes, beliefs, and quirks. Don't let anything chip away at the one-of-a-kind DNA strands that make you your spirited, strong, vulnerable, promising, goofy, gorgeous self. You will never fit on a 2-page resume or match the exact expectations of someone who acts important but doesn't really matter. What you have inside of you, class of 2014, is priceless. And those of us who are here to watch you receive your crescents and diplomas are blessed to behold it.
Ladies and gentlemen, It is my honor to announce the names of our graduating seniors. Dr. Dawn Nichols, head of school, will confer the crescents and diplomas. She will be assisted by Racine Hansen of the class of 2012. The seniors will be congratulated by Visitation Board Chair, Mr. Ozzie Nielsen. Out of respect